Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Balıkesir in Turkey. We are in western Turkey, and what's interesting about this province is that it has coastlines on the Aegean Sea and the Sea of Marmara. You can see Istanbul's just up here. The Sea of Marmara is what separates the Mediterranean from the Black Sea. You can see the capital city here, Balıkesir. All the provinces of Turkey are named after their largest city. But for history, I found most of it really along the coastline here, because if you know your Turkish geography, this coastline here has a lot of ancient Greek history, and Troy is literally just a hop, skip, and a jump away. So is Bergamon over here. It's right in the heart of ancient Greek stories and legends. Over here we have a very large mountain range known as the Kaz Mountains. The highest point being in Greek, I believe it's pronounced Kazdai. But for whatever reason in English it's Mount Ida. I think it's how you say it. I didn't really look up why it's called that. It's very different from the Turkish name, isn't it? But that's that for you. So there is the Kaz mountain range down here. It's quite hilly throughout, but especially along the coastlines here and here, it's quite flat. In fact, so flat that you can see this giant lake here, just dominating the landscape. This is Kush Lake, up there by Gorin and Bandırma along the coast. Now this coastline and this coastline are quite different, because this one, of course, is on the Aegean, like I said, so it's more beachy. Lots of people go on vacation here. Make sure I point it out, alright? Right. Here it is. Ayvalık, it's called. Ayvalık. I kept thinking it was up there. Ayvalık. That's a big vacation town. But this coastline is more about ports and shipment. Not so much about beaches. There are lots of big islands out here as well. We'll take a glance at those on Google Earth. There's not many pictures of them. There's some smaller ones out here as well that have some more pictures on Google Earth. We'll definitely look at those. The history of this place, of course, is quite interesting. It does have a very long and storied history, like I said, in the times of ancient Greece and even earlier than that, with the ancient peoples that would settle here. Eventually it would be conquered by the Persians and then Alexander, so on and so forth. We don't really get any real concrete history about this area in particular until 124 CE, when Emperor Hadrian visited, and he had a bear hunt, and it was successful. He killed a bear. So he established a town right here, naming it after himself, and I hope I say this right, I probably won't. Hadrianuthere. It's such a mouthful. But it was when settlement first started here, but it really wasn't Balıkesir as a town until 1217, when the Turks settled here. They were part of the Karsid dynasty, which ruled over the area here. Was the Principality of Mysia. This whole area over here is part of Mysia. In 1345, it would later be annexed by the Ottomans, which is the Turkish Empire that ruled Anatolia until the end of World War I. Now, as you can imagine, because Greece is just over here, you can see this is the island of Lesbos right here. There is a very large Greek population in this province, especially along the coast here, but even inland it was a majority Greek population for quite a long time. And that, of course, changed in the times around World War One, when Greeks were very extremely persecuted. In some cases, they were exiled out of the area. In fact, in Ivy League, all of the Greeks were exiled sometime during World War One. And the Greeks living here essentially ran the entire olive oil industry, which is what made the town thrive. So when all the Greeks were kicked out, their economy collapsed because no one was running their most profitable industry. So they asked some Greeks to come back. Not a good look, expelling a whole ethnicity and then being like, our bad. But like 99% of the Greeks at the time were expelled. But that would not last long, because the Ottoman Empire would lose World War I, and the victors got to divide up the lands that were conquered during World War I amongst themselves. And since the Ottoman Empire was no more after that, the Allies decided that Greece should have control over what's now Turkey. So the Greek army moved in. They came in here in 1919 and conquered the area. But that would not last long, because the Turks were obviously not happy about that, and they launched their independence war, led of course by Ataturk. And it was quite a violent conflict. The Turks would retake this province by 1922. And like I said, it was very violent against the Greeks, and it was very violent from the Greeks against the Turks. Not very good things happened to the Greeks that resettled here after the Greeks took over. Let's put it that way, to be YouTube friendly and relaxing. But the Greek army did some very not good things to the Turks that were living here. Not glossing over it, of course, just being YouTube friendly and not stressing you out too much. But what came of all of this violence during that time after the Independence War was that Turkey and Greece came to an agreement that they would expel all the Greeks, especially Christian Greeks, out of Turkey, and Greece would expel all the Turks, especially the Muslim Turks, out of Greece. And Ayvalık was one of those towns that took in a huge influx of Muslim Turks that were living in Greece at the time. An important center there for that. But today, this place is mainly known for its vacation locales here along the coast. All of that is an old dream from 100 years ago, thankfully. Of course, Turks and Greeks still don't really get along on the world stage, at least. But again, that was 100 years ago. A lot of the grudges held between the two are mostly gone, unless you live in Cyprus. Then that's a different story, but we're not talking about that tonight. That is the very basic history of this province. I really glossed it over, but it's one of those places that I could go deep in depth, or just tell you the Cliff Notes. So I gave you the Cliff Notes version. So why don't we pop over to Google Earth so we can look at some of these cool islands and see some of the beautiful sights in this province. Here we are in Balıkesir. I'm going to start by zooming out so you can see exactly where we are. So here is Turkey. This whole section of Turkey here is known as Anatolia. So we're in western Anatolia, and you can see just how close we are to the Greek islands here. And Turkey is, of course, located right at those crossroads between Europe and Asia. In fact, this part is technically in Europe, and this part's technically in Asia. Let's start by checking out these islands I mentioned. I'm pretty sure that these ones up here in the Sea of Marmara don't have a lot of pictures. But I don't know, I checked it about 2 days ago, so maybe it's changed. Pretty sure this one doesn't have pictures. Yeah, it's too bad. But from the looks of things, besides here along the coast, it's just mostly a natural place. Again, not quite the beachy kind of atmosphere that the other coastline has. Let's see if we can't find something interesting. There's a little camping site, just so we can see the landscape. And of course, it's very lush and beautiful. I suppose that's good enough. Yeah, but there are many others with even less pictures. But you can see that a lot of mining occurs here. Same with down in Balıkesir. This is a huge pit mine. And I want to say it's, gosh, why do I want to say it's copper? I know they do a lot of boron too, so it could be either of those. But, and there we go, we've got a slideshow here. Little park. Oh yeah, I did look at this. Lots of camping here. It's mostly pictures of people, I think that's why I skipped that. Not that that's not nice, but I want to show you the scenery. We do have a slideshow of the lake here. Lake Kush. Or Lake Manyasik can also be called. I've seen both names, including here. And it's a big old marshy lake. We got some, looks like maybe geese there? Maybe ducks. Can't really tell. But lots of flowers, lots of marshy reeds. Looks like thistles right there. Maybe? Farmland nearby. Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it? You can't tell where the water ends and the sky begins. All these farmers out here. I think it's a very nice little area here. So yes, most of the landscape, you know, if you zoom in, you can see the mountainous areas here, but it's mostly just nice little villages and things. It's all very quaint. But let's head over to Balıkesir. But here is the main city. Let's see if we have good pictures here in the slideshow. Big beautiful mosque here. A lot of the mosques in this province, oh how cute, were former Greek churches, Greek Orthodox churches, right? Not sure about here, but mainly over along the Aegean, you get that kind of, architectural vibe. You just slap a minaret on it and turn it into a mosque. If I remember, I didn't really find anything exciting over here. Of course, we have an Ataturk Park, like every major city in Turkey. You gotta have Ataturk something, somewhere, on every corner. Because I've learned in my research, and oh, here's the big pit mine. Oh, yeah, over here. I've learned from research, and I've learned from my Turkish viewers that y'all love Ataturk. Mustafa Kemal is the hero of Turkey to this day, and I respect that. Here's the mountains, aren't they beautiful? So lush and green. And we can look at, let's see, maybe this slideshow. That's not the one I wanted to show you. Maybe this one, actually. Yes, this is the one. Where you can see the beautiful landscape here. And all of the pretty streams and rivers, little waterfalls to explore. Snowy mountaintops, beautiful wildflowers. A view here of the Mediterranean. It's a gorgeous area. Lots to see and explore, lots of places to hike, lots of places to camp. Very, very beautiful mountain range here in Turkey. But you think beautiful mountain ranges, you think Eastern Turkey, right? You don't really think Western Turkey in terms of like big mountain peaks and things. But it's all very beautiful and lush here, as you can see. But let's head down, lastly, to Ayvalık. You can see this bustling little town here. And let's find a beach. I believe there's a nice one down here somewhere. I've gotten lost. Oh no, where'd it go? More camping there. There's a beach there, but no slideshow popping up. Aha, this looks fun. That's pretty. Not quite what I was expecting. I wanted to show you a beach. It's a beautiful coastline. Oh, I can't remember. I found a beautiful beach. I'm like, oh, perfect. I want to show them this one. And now I don't remember where it was. Oh, darn. Now what do I do? Well, here we can see some of the islands here connected by this neat bridge. Let's see. Here's another Ataturk Park. Ataturk Woods. How fancy. It's just pretty little islands. Kind of reminds me of like the east coast of the United States. It's a little more. Actually, I think this park was really pretty. Yes. Ivy Lake Islands Nature Park. So nice. And yeah, you can probably tell that that was a Greek church, right? Maybe even some Greek buildings still around. Some wild goats. But it's very, very beautiful. Where was that beach at? Oh, here it is. Just appeared out of nowhere. I guess I had to look further south. With a big old Turkish flag right there flapping in the wind. And people enjoying the waters. A little carnival there. A little theme park. Now this is a beach, right? With hotel resorts nearby. So you can visit the beach in luxury. Big yachts there. Enjoying the sunrise. Or I guess the sunset, right? There we go. Now that's a beach. That's what I'm talking about. There's nothing as relaxing as a glamorous beach. But I think that was all the things I wanted to show you. There are many, many other sites to see around this province. I highly encourage you to play around it yourself and see if you can find any cool slideshows, and let me know if you do, because I want to see them too. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this style of content, please consider subscribing. Next, we are going to be heading over to Turkmenistan. And do you guys really enjoy the Turkmenistan content? I'm not quite sure why. It's a very problematic country, but you guys just eat it up. And we're going to an area with a very interesting name, and it might upset some of the Eastern European viewers out there. If you know, you know. You're gonna do a double take when you see the title of that video, so be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational, and I hope that you have a good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.